Alright, what is up guys, this is Cobb, it is update time, god damn it, let's get into the balance adjustments that have just gone live today on November 9th. Starting with the War Factory changes, HP being increased by about 15% from 160k to 184k, so just tankier War Factories. I don't think that this is honestly that impactful at all. This seems like a huge increase, but I think usually when a War Factory dies, it's to a melting point or it's to like crawler acid or something, you know, it's like some kind of percentage damage or something like that. I don't think that this is like a crazy significant buff, but yeah, it's a thing. The price of high explosive ammo adjusted from 300 to 150, so high explosive ammo has 50% cheaper on the War Factory unit. I can only imagine this was never ever being picked on the War Factory, and so yeah, they're just cutting the cost in half to try and encourage people to maybe try it out a little bit, experiment with it, increase the pick rate, make it more accessible, whatever. This is really why you're buying your War Factories though, let's be honest, man. Missile Interceptor on War Factories is like the answer to Stormcaller spam. It's the answer to electromagnetic missile Stormcallers. It's a huge, huge deal. And Missile Interceptor on the factories has had a price increase from 200 to 250. Honestly surprised to not see this go up to 300. I think that a 50 supply increase on a check that is this powerful and this insane, and it's currently like the go-to for if you see your opponent dropping some Stormcallers, particularly if you are fearful of the electromagnetic effect, or even if the incendiary bombs are just, you know, incendiary missiles torching the battlefield and killing your Fang Swarm. War Factories are picked up and bought, and Missile Interceptor is picked up just to counter the Stormcallers. For that reason, I think the 50 supply hike isn't going to be enough to deter people from doing this. It's still very, very easy to do, and so I think that this will continue to be a thing, which is fine, by the way. I think that Stormcallers, if they don't have a consistent answer in the game to Stormcaller spam, then yeah, they get very oppressive very, very quickly. Next up, we have the Wraith changes. Attack adjusted from, I mean, it's like a tiny, minuscule, negligible attack decrease, really, to the Wraiths. But the attack interval, this one is actually really big, has been adjusted from 2 seconds to 1.7 seconds. So we'll be attacking quite a lot faster now, these Wraith units. So for any of you carry Wraith enjoyers out there, yeah. The time is now. I still really don't know what to do with this unit, to be honest. I'm still not sure if it's like aggro or anti-aggro. Even if you're playing like an aggro composition, you can sort of counter the Wraith's Degenerate Beam with one Overload with a Photon Emission, you know? And there's like lots of ways to kind of play around it. I don't really know what it does. Oh god, where's the update gone? There it is. Yeah, I'm just not super sure what it's for, exactly. But hey, anyways, next up we have the Vulcan. Big buffs overall. Attack has been lowered from 90 to 88 in the attack tick rate. Kind of negligible, not the biggest deal. But the splash damage range has been adjusted from 10 meters to 12 meters, and the Vulcan's rotation speed has been sped up from 50 degrees per second to 60 degrees per second. This is just good stuff overall. It just makes the Vulcan better at just killing off. It just makes the Vulcan better at his job, really. Killing off mass amounts of chaff, killing off masses and masses of smaller units. Yeah, the turn rate kind of sucks for most giant units, so this one getting a slight buff is actually a bigger deal than it may at first seem. Next we have Phoenixes. Small attack damage reduction, but attack interval again reduced from 3.4 seconds to 3.2 seconds. So less attack damage, but attacking faster, kind of similar to the Wraith, though not as extreme of an example. Marksman, the price of aerial specialization adjusted from 200 to 250. This one's interesting to me. I've not seen anybody using aerial specialization on Marksman. At all. Ever, actually. Is anybody picking this? Like, if anything, I almost feel like the price should be reduced by 50 supply, not increased. I don't know. For me, I feel like it's just kind of not being picked, but there you go. And next up we have Fortress. Mass-produced Fortress has been adjusted to card level 2. That means that it will appear later in games than what we are used to seeing it, which is a good thing. I think that mass-produced on giant units is generally really, really spooky, you know, if the game gets that early. If either you or your opponents pick up mass-produced Overlord or Melting Point or Fortress super, super early on in the game, things can snowball out of control really, really fast, and the game can descend into I mean, it can just descend into memory. So even though it like hurts my soul a little bit to see this kind of get backed up to card level 2, it's probably healthy for the game overall. Makes fortress spams a little bit less accessible as well. Extended range fortress has been adjusted to level 1. Ooh, so having said that, more carry style fortress might actually be on the cards. In fact, I think that next time I log on in, first thing I'm going to do is switch over my fortress text to include range and launcher overload. Because if you pick this thing up quite early, you can pick up like just a couple of like super hard carry backline fortresses. Yeah, and I think I had a lot of success with that. And frankly, the final change, the effects of Assault Fortress have been adjusted to increases fortress attack by 30, health by 30, move speed by 3, but decreasing range by 10. I actually don't even know what's changed with this. I feel like this is just the same as it was before. I don't know, dude. Like, does anybody know how this has actually changed? Because I swear this is what it was before, but yeah, I don't know. It's not a card I pick up often, so I'm probably wrong about that. Probably is a huge change and I'm just missing it completely. All in all, what exactly does all of these changes mean for the game? I feel like it means that we could see less fortress spams. And the reason for that are kind of twofold. Not only is mass-produced fortress showing up a little bit later on in the game, so people can start spamming them. On average, it's going to be like on average 1 turn later than they usually would in games where mass-produced fortress appears as a card option. So it's going to kind of back it up a little bit and, yeah, probably damage the pick rate a little bit of a mass-produced fortress. But also, of course, the price of Missile Interceptor being adjusted from 200 to 250. Yeah, it just makes it a little bit more clunky to pick up that War Factory to protect your fortresses, because that's something that oftentimes happens, right? You might actually be able to counter mass fortresses a little bit more consistently with a Stormcaller spam now as well, even if it's only just a tiny little bit. Now, it's entirely possible that that is just a huge dose of copium for me. I'm kind of tired of seeing spam fortresses, to be honest. I feel like I've done so many videos on it, and for some reason it's stuck around through like every balance adjustment that we've seen. It feels like it's just perpetually a thing, a blight on the game, you know, that we can't seem to really get rid of. But I don't know. I feel like we are edging towards maybe just fortress spam becoming a little bit less viable, or at least a little bit less common. And additionally, yeah, Vulcans might be back, dude. More importantly, carry Vulcans. Yeah, man. Splash damage range just from 10 meters to 12 meters. I think this, plus like all of the damage text and stuff like that, as well as the correct items on a Vulcan, I don't know, could make having Vulcans as that like core backbone of your army being a thing again, or at least being more common again. So hey, those are the patch notes. Let me know what you think down below, man. Which change do you think is going to be most impactful? Which change do you think I'm underestimating the impact of? I guess I'm going to hop into Mecha now and actually test some of these changes out myself and see how they feel in practice. And I'll catch all of y'all just a tad bit later, man.